Civilizations of the Greys, reptilians, who else, besides people, is said to inhabit Earth now? This may not resonate with everyone. Those accustomed to the eat now, sleep mindset might not grasp its essence, but those who with a broader worldview and a curious intellect might find it thought-provoking. Guangzhou, China, is a hub of industry. A vast majority of goods purchased from online marketplaces are manufactured there. The production scale is staggering, catering to global demands. This aligns with the common belief that China, with its billion-strong population, is overpopulated. Yet the reality is that overpopulation is not an issue there. Like any other city, they are empty spaces, especially noticeable when traveling from the airport to the city center, surrounded by vacant lots. Even during peak hours, the metro is no more crowded than those in other major cities, often less so. What is striking in China, particularly in the metro, the subway, is the people's behavior reminiscent of zombies. Their eyes are glued to their phones, their cell phones, navigating steps, boarding, and alighted from the trains without once looking up. This eerie scene could be a glimpse into the future where our descendants are inseparable from their screens unless they consciously choose to disconnect. Now let's proceed. Reptilian, the cold-blooded? For instance, let's revisit our experiences. Many empaths have come across this phenomenon, encountering such individuals, and numerous have been severely emotionally scarred by these encounters, some to a critical extent, leading to a breakdown and shift from creativity to an angry stance. Who are these manipulative individuals? They're often labeled as cold-blooded, or in other terms, reptilian. Setting aside any clinical diagnosis and personality disorder labels, we can observe them objectively as an external onlooker would. A reptilian personality describes someone who is cold-blooded, lacking empathy, conscience, and compassion, and who egocentrically pursues their goals, disregarding others and exploiting them for personal gain. Such individuals are driven by a singular force to achieve their objectives, which are often material or related to gaining power or status. When a significant prize is at risk, they may even betray their closest allies. Once the energy door, targeted as prey by the manipulator, ceases to provide energy, resources, opportunities, or any other benefits, the self-centered individual callously discards them, erasing them from their life without a second thought or gratitude for shared experiences. They methodically shift their attention to the next target, which they find with alarming ease. The world is full of naive empaths. If not one, then another will certainly be found. The ruthless individual harbors no remorse for their former victim. They hold them in contempt and fail to comprehend them. Indeed, how can one respect someone who willingly debases themselves before the manipulator, striving to save them, fearful of losing the one who belittles and suppresses them? Such naivety equates to a lack of self-respect, and the world responds in kind. To the cold-hearted, the victim's behavior is nothing but sheer and irredeemable folly. Thus, they feel neither respect nor regret for those they leave behind, nor will they ever. In fairy tales, such heartless characters are often portrayed as ice creatures, bandits, dragons, sorcerers, witches, or gray eminences, which in reality often align with those archetypes. So now let's proceed. An innocent empath, often labeled as a fool. Before his true awakening and the development of understanding of others, a naive empath often idealizes the heroes they encounter, displaying an open heart, a readiness to help indiscriminately, and the capacity for sympathy, empathy, mercy, and creativity, among other positive traits. Ironically, life does not reward these traits, but instead subjects the empath to harsh treatment through the introduction of cold-hearted individuals. Eventually, the naive empath is faced with a choice: succumb to darkness and become a vengeful dark empath, withdraw from the world as a psychophobe, or channel their energy into creating and fully realizing their potential. Interestingly, it is this transformation that can cause a manipulator to reconsider their respect for the empath. Victory for the empath lies not in revenge, but in personal success and purpose, which ultimately harms the narcissist and benefits the empath. The story becomes even more fascinating from here. The civilization of the Greys. A person is termed a man of the century, yet our hero has emerged as a man of 1,000 years. Have you ever found it odd that in fairy tales, the protagonist reveals to everyone where his death is concealed? Is he weary of life, or is he bound by a compulsion to always speak the truth? After revealing the truth, it's essential to obtain the consent of the victim, whether they are consciously or unconsciously in agreement. Similarly, in many fantasy films and TV series like The Matrix and Avatar, the truth is often presented to us. As for TV series visitors, it falls under the genre of comedy and sci-fi. The discussion takes a different turn. Initially, there was the word, and behind every word lies the thought, an idea, an image, or even an action plan. Context is also crucial. A misinterpreted context or word can drastically alter its meaning and the subsequent progressions of events. Let's consider the term overpopulation, which is frequently mentioned, isn't it? It's poised to form the foundation of a comprehensive narrative about the climate change, the detrimental effects of carbon dioxide emitted by every living creature, and the carbon footprint, among other things. Viewing overpopulation, quote unquote, solely as an indicator of surplus, we understand its significance from just one perspective. Yet, what if this term held an entirely different connotation, like homonymous, for instance, where a word shares the same spelling and pronunciation but possesses a distinct meaning? If overpopulation, quote unquote, does not imply surplus, then what could it signify? I'll leave that question open. So share your thoughts and comments, and this exercise could reveal a broader perspective on current global events and what springs to mind when you think of this concept aside from the notion of excess. This is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.